things I really like about Shopify is that it shows you the world, and who is watching, who is looking. I can't really wait to the world to start seeing all the all those dots come all across America, Europe, South Africa. This is where we are. We're right on the tip of Africa. Can you believe it? That's our city. And from there, we plan to conquer all of this and all of this and some of that. Actually, this is Mexico. This is where I grew up. I grew up in Mexico. I lived there for 12 years. And now I live here the most of my life. Now I live here for about 15 years. But I'm originally from here. This is my hometown. You go closer. Oh, yeah. Here. Spain. That's my hometown. And we also want to conquer around Asia. I think that's Asia, right? And maybe here around Dubai. So yeah, this is the site. Let me show you quickly. So the site, we have it. This is all the t-shirts. Everything is rock and rolling now. Super quick. And yeah, we live. We live. So a few little issues here and there, but I think we can work with that. Categories. You can become ambassador now. All the new drops. Like I said, I have a lot of products still behind the scenes, but I didn't want to release everything at once. Let's just get it going, and then we're gonna release maybe a bit more. And this is the Instagram I've been working on as well. Yeah, you can go here, check about us. Tells a little bit of the story. That's me. It's Ruth. She's my coordinator with influencer, photo shoots, creative assistant for all that, and myself. And then I have some online virtual assistant. When we get a bit busy at the moment, I'm dealing with mostly everything myself because I want to make sure that everything is running smoothly because we had some issues with the manufacturing or whatever. But yeah, other than that, we're good to go. In the back end. So now I'm just working as well. I'm gonna show you something that I learned now recently, which I think is very important. Is this? I mean, I had it, but I just rewording it, which is called. It's like a document which shows the brand guidelines. So I'm doing this as a part of like the new brand voice. I just kind of like fix a lot of the issues that not the issues. I don't like the word I use. What I just kind of like reword it, and I want to come across on a more consolidated voice. So starts with a mission statement. So it kind of like story, why we do what we do, right? What is the goal of the company, and why would people want to wear it? Why people will want to wear the product, right? So it's very important to have a brand voice that showcases the bigger why, right? So I'm going here. So for instance, for us is this: in a world that often overlooks the unseen hours, the sleepless nights, the quiet sacrifices, iconic black stands as a reminder that greatness is born in those moments. We are the dreamers, the creators, the hustlers who push through the darkness, trusting that every step, every stumble is part of the becoming. So yeah, I'm here. So I'm reading here the brand guidelines. It's something I'm working on this week. Well, I've been working for a couple of weeks, but lately I've been putting a lot of effort into understanding it because I never really thought about, like, yeah, you create a product, you create a brand, and it has some ethos that by the way you're doing it, it has some sort of meaning, etc. But you need to be a little bit more concise of like what is your brand, what is the why people would buy your product, what solution do you provide, or what bigger why in a way is your product makes them feel, right? Like if you buy a Nike, like the Just Do It, the symbol of Nike already has that kind of energy that, as soon as you're wearing Nike, you feel like you're a sports sports person, and you can go for a run, and you can, you can be an athlete, a professional athlete, or you kind of like feel like, that brand voice is so strong that you already feel like, oh, I can do anything, you throw me in. So I'm trying to come up with something that is like Iconic Black related, that is real to us, that it feels in line with our values, with our core values of the company. And I think I finally got it. Last week I was talking to my sister, and she is in Spain, and she did like a couple of courses, like coming with communications, right? Like it has to do a lot with communications. But you have to come with the feeling of what is behind the true meaning of why you're doing what you do, right? Yes, clothing is cool. We can design. It looks fresh. Like, the materials are of the highest levels that we can get. The designs are quite nice, but something is missing, right? And what is missing? So yeah, so something is missing. So what is missing is, and I always had it like, I mean, yeah, you can sell. This is not gonna stop you not to sell, but what is the bigger why? When people hear about a brand, they want to know the meaning behind it. They want to know the values that you share. They want to know that when I purchase those goods, I'm supporting a brand that has a more meaningful story, motivation. So yeah, so working on it, I'm still back and forth, but it's always been innated in like what Iconic Black means, right? Yes, it started as a brand that it became famous for the cap. The cap was worn by a lot of creatives and a lot of rappers and celebrities or whatever. Then people made it iconic in a way. That was the initial what a name was born with. People made it iconic in a way. So I was like, okay, Iconic Black. Iconic Black was always powerful, and then we created this social movement, young African creatives, etc. But since then, the branding has evolved a lot, and I have evolved a lot. And the true meaning has always been about myself, about like not just about myself, but about people like me, go-getters, dreamers, entrepreneurs, people that wake up every day and just follow the dreams, follow the passions. And for me, those are the real iconic people, right? The journey of becoming iconic is done in the shadows, is done in the late nights, is done when nobody sees you, like I put hours until 2 o'clock in the morning. Last night I wake up and I push through, and when you have to get it done, you do get it done. So I want to transfer that kind of message through the brand. So the voice is always been a bit of upliftment. It's always been about creatives, entrepreneurs. Because for me, like entrepreneur is not necessarily just what you think of an entrepreneur. Anybody chasing their dreams is entrepreneur. Even if you're a dentist, you're still entrepreneur. You gotta put out yourself there. You gotta set up your operation. Like if you're an artist, you are entrepreneurial. You have entrepreneurial spirit because you need to push yourself. Nobody's gonna come and do it for you. So for me, even the guys behind the scenes, like if you're in a shoot, like they tend to focus on the model or on the main character of the story. But I always love to see Iconic Black as the brand that it was used by the camera guy or was used by the guy who was filming or editing behind the scenes. And whenever I used to see the Iconic Black brand with them, I would feel like so proud to see that brand represented they represented those guys, those guys in their journey of becoming whatever they're gonna become in 5 years, 10 years. Our perception of success is not always about being the most known or being the most famous, but just by showing up, by waking up every day and following your dreams, your passions, showing up to study, showing up to work, have values, have like, yeah, be a good person, being kind to others. For me, that is part of the values of the brand that I want to transmit. Like I'm not involved in anymore like too much parties and things like that. I want the overall feel. Like the brand, yeah, it's been seen in artists and DJs and creatives and all of that by all means. But how I want to present the brand and resonate with people is towards giving us that kind of message that is, no matter where you are, from the darkness into the light in your journey to becoming iconic. So I carry on here on this presentation. I'm gonna jump into the website. So the problem is, so obviously this brand guidelines is mostly like for company purposes and for communications. So not necessarily we're gonna post it all out there. So the problem would be many dreamers are left without support, motivation, or belief. When they are grinding in the shadows, they lose faith in their vision, questioning it all. The hard work, is it worth it? The world doesn't see in their struggles until they succeed. So the solution is Iconic Black is a guiding force, giving energy to those who refuse to settle for mediocrity. We empower you to trust your journey, knowing the process is part of the greatness. We bring light to those dark hours. With every product drop, we drop a symbol that you're not alone in this fight. So for entrepreneurs, the dreamers, the creatives, we see you. Iconic Black exists to amplify your voice, to remind you that every visionary who became iconic first fought in the shadows. A brand is rallying cry, trust the process of becoming. Whether you started your first business, chasing your creative passion, or shaping your community, we are here to walk alongside you. Together we rise from the dark into the light. Together we become iconic. Our core values are empowerment, trust the process, community, authenticity, vision, resilience. So these are obviously a little bit of more like some whys in there. So like a bit of a copy. You can check it out. And then here, now this is where we remember, this is brand voice, right? So this is how what I explain is like a little bit of like the why, how we feel that the brand should be presented, what we want to aim with the brand. Yeah, it's cool, it's streetwear, it's Ranky, it's Rockstar, it's whatever you want to call it, the product in itself. But what is the bigger why? So we are trying to solve that problem. When people feel like they're not seen, they're not being seen, when they wear the Iconic Black uniform, when they wear that with pride, makes them stand out from the rest and makes them remember that no matter where you are, we understand your struggles, no matter where you are, you always need to know where you're going, And I myself, if I tell you back in the day, like when I started, I was very young, my first time I did some clothes, I was probably like 16 years old. I grew up in Mexico in a very, I want to say poor, but yeah, like poor background, like basically we had enough to get by, but, we were there building community of, with my dad and my family there. So we had restaurants and stuff like that. And I was working basically in the restaurant, nothing fancy, right? I was delivering pizzas, like managing, wasn't going to school, wasn't part of the study or anything, and I couldn't really afford like nice clothes, brand new stuff. So I would always have this flair for going and making my own items, right? Making my own blazers, making my own pants. I would actually scrap ideas, and I would tell my mom, or I would go to a tailor and tell them, listen, can you make me this blazer? I want it with a zip, I want it in these patches, and things that nobody would see that, and they would like, yo, where do you got this? And I was like, no, I made it for myself. And then I would trade it off with other guys for the Discman, or I would trade it off for other stuff, clothing and sneakers. And yeah, that's what was a passion of mine, and it was born out of that kind of like not having, and kind of like just wanting to be different or stand out, or having my own items. So part of these stories, yeah, based on that, we all have gone through the struggles in a way, right? So the words here, bold, inspirational, empowering, inclusive, honest, visionary. So this is how we want to convey the brand voice. Like I said, this is the first draft. I'm going to review it a couple of times until I feel like way confident that this is 100%. Because at the end of the day, the brand voice is something that you need to feel confident that you're going to put it out there, that it is real, it's authentic. So for us, be bold and inspirational. So our voice should uplift and energize, driving them to push forward in the journeys. So we want to come across as like somebody that is supporting you through. And how that come across? So we would say confident and assertive, with phrasing that feels like a rallying cry or motivational speech. It calls in your audience to believe in themselves, to keep going, and trust they're on the right path. So that could be transferring to like copy of the Instagram post, for instance, or a letter or newsletter. It's like, hey, we believe in you, like, or maybe something like, hey, in a world where everybody's tired of the 9 to 5s, you as entrepreneur or you as a go-getter, we understand that dreams come for those who fight hard, or something like that. Something that is motivational, obviously without going too deep, but within the reason, right? And then, like, for instance, be inclusive and empowering. So our message is about community and unity, supporting people from all walks of life in the pursuit of greatness. So how that sounds like welcoming, using language that speaks to we and us instead of you and them, like here. Be honest and truthful. We are recognized the real of often unglamorous work that goes into success. Authenticity reassures our audience that it's okay to embrace the struggles and imperfections along the way. And yeah, I'm always very vocal on this. Like, things don't happen overnight, and there is a lot of ups and downs in life. Like, I mean, I'll tell my story another time, but I've been going through it myself for a very long time. Um, every time I was about to make it big, or every time I was to this, something had happened in my life, something like personal life or business or something. And one thing with me is that I've always been very relentless, resilient, patient, grateful, and I carry on because I know where I come from. Like, believe me, like, I have a very good life in comparison to where I come from. I come from zero, like literally like hustling when I was very young in very dangerous places, just to be able to travel and move and have a dream, right? Um, so no matter how difficult it gets and all of that, I always remember that this is just another step in the line, and then sooner or later things will fall in place when I'm ready, when everything has its time. Oh fuck. What was I do? Oh shit, I wasn't even recording. Anyway. So yeah, so that's the brand voice. Bold, inspirational, empowering, honest, visionary. All of these are just part of the brand voice that we're working on, and once it's done, I can do a fuller review on it. I think it's very important to have some sort of direction of how you brand, why you want your brand, your product. We're not talking about brand, I'm talking about clothing, but I'm talking also about your company, you yourself as a person, as a personal brand. What values do you bring to the table? How your tone of voice is going to be played out into that. For instance, like when I was doing some coaching, um, like like I want to come across as somebody relatable, professional, but also playful, sarcastic sometimes. I'm a funny guy. I like to crack jokes. I don't like to make everything so serious. So obviously in the brand I might not use too much of that language because the brand is more about inspirational, upliftment, and all of that. But I did allow a little clause there that says, be authentic, be real. So if someday we're gonna post something and it's gonna be more funny, it is motivational, it is funny, like it's not wrong about it, right? But as long as we keep within a certain guidelines, so we don't go all over the place. One day we sarcastic, the other day we professional, the other day we like dark humor, the other day we are so sad or so vulnerable. It has to be within reason, following certain brand guidelines. So like right across the board, it starts like it sounds unified. If you post it on Instagram, or if you post it on TikTok, or if you do a newsletter, everywhere it just talks more or less the same language. So I'm working on this. I'm still working on then I'm gonna do the logos. The color scheme is coming now. Color scheme, logos, do's and don'ts, and the perfect kind of client uh, persona kind of thing. I'm gonna just put an audience type of, and these would be just the brand guidelines. Besides that, I'm gonna redo. Maybe I'll show that one. I'm gonna redo the kind of like, it's called like the brand deck type of thing. I think it's called, where I show a little bit, like I'm gonna go more in depth in the values, the beginning of the brand, competitive analysis, our weaknesses, strengths. Well, that's a strategic. Like that would be more into the strategic for 2025, which I also want to work on, a new updated one. And look, these things are not set on fire. Like, I mean, this is a guide that you should follow, but at the same time, you also need to feel what feels real. What motivates you to carry on, and what is working. So maybe next year we say, oh, this voice is actually not being very well perceived, so we have to adapt a little bit. Not to say that we have to change it, because at the end of the day, that's the voice of us as a company owners, as a brand directors. That's our voice. I cannot like completely change it. But I mean, you could actually if you wanted to, because at the end of the day, it's for marketing purposes, and it's for positioning of the brand. What I'm saying is, like, you can review it. This is something that you can review it every year, every second year, you know, see what way you want to improve or not, especially on the the strategy of the company should be done almost every year, you know, like at least review it, see where you are, put some goals. And I mean, I have to do them myself. I did one like 6 months ago, but I need to do another one soon, because with these new changes and all of that, I need to put a bit of my direction. So yeah, this is the thing I'm going to show you, and then we'll take it from there. Cheers. Are still working on the brand guidelines. This is the font family that we use, so we're just allocating each to where it's supposed to go. And yeah, I mean, this process takes time, but once you do it properly, it's going to be very valuable to your brand, or to your company, or to your personal brand in a way, right? I'll explain more. I'm gonna do as well like a live kind of workshop with some creatives and entrepreneurs in South Africa, and I'm gonna go through all of these, what I have done, etc. And yeah, will be also to give us indication how to do this, and also like the values that it has. This is all for that direction. I've never done this before, and I always thought, not like it wasn't necessary, but you know, I'm a creative director now. I guess I have to direct the orchestra. So we have to be directed. We have to know what kind of images do we want, what kind of look and feel we want, what kind of angles we want to portray, you know? Otherwise, you always shoot all over the place, you know what I mean? Like, some great photos come out, but this is just to give a direction. I think everything has to have some sort of a strategy. The more I'm doing this, the more I'm realizing that if you don't want average outcome, you have to excel in every single aspect. You have to think about every single thing. And this is what we're doing here. I mean, I wish I could use all of them, but I'm not gonna oversaturate the presentation either. It's too sporty. What is the other one? Like this one and that one. Hey. All right, so I'll take you. This is just behind the scenes. Put in the work. 11:30, 11:15. So I did all this. So every page has some meaning, you know. Remember, this is the first draft still. Obviously, I've tied it up quite a lot. But we're still gonna look at what can we move, what can we improve. And like I said, this is the brand voice for 2025. We're gonna test it. We're gonna see if this is the way going forward. I mean, it's still within reason with our values. Do we feel like maybe we can be a little bit less serious or more bold or less entrepreneurial, more creative? That's part of finding out the voice. But I feel confident with this. It's talking to me a lot, so I feel that I can push forward with this. It looks so cool actually when you. Alright, let me finish this. Cheers, guys. See you later. Has it? So we said we're going to celebrate every win and we're going to analyze every loss. So we just made our first sale on the new Iconic Black website after the second day of advertising. And yeah, so I'm excited. And it's a nice sale. It's almost 4,000 Rand sale. I'm going to now get the thing going. And yeah, so just wanted to record it. We did the first sale. And yeah, looking forward for more. You know, this month is going to be busy. Just need to sort out a few things. But we are moving forward and it's coming. Let's do it.